Hi, for my capstone project today, I'm making tostadas. What you'll need is beans that are smashed, onion, pre-cooked chicken, cilantro, lettuce, and tortillas. Now I'm going to start cutting the cilantro and cutting the stems off. After I cut the stems off, I'm going to chop the cilantro. After we finally chop the cilantro, now we're going to put it into the bowl. Now we're going to cut the lettuce in half and only use half of the lettuce. Now you chopped your lettuce in half, we're going to disassemble it so it's easier to wash. Now that we cut our lettuce, we're going to lay them on the board on top of each other and cut them in strips. After you cut your lettuce in strips, now you're going to place it in the bowl, the same bowl with the cilantro. Go ahead and cut the onions. First we're going to cut the sides to make it easier to cut in half. Now we're going to go ahead and cut our onion. First we're going to cut the ends, peel it, and then cut it in half. Now we're going to cut the end of the onions and then cut it in half. Now we're only going to use one of the half of the onions and then I'm going to cut them really small, mince it. So after you cut the onions and mince them, you're going to put them in the same bowl as the lettuce and cilantro. Now we're going to rip our chicken in pieces. So after you add the chicken, onion, cilantro, and lettuce, you're going to start mixing it. So now we're going to add the oil into the pan to cook the beans. Just a little bit. We're going to add in the beans while the pan is on. So now since the beans are all stuck together, we're going to add 1 cup of hot water. And now we're going to mix it until it comes soft. Now that the beans are incorporated with the water, we are going to put it aside and start cooking our tortillas. So now we put lots of oil in the pan and now we're going to grab our tortillas and start frying them until they're crispy. So now we're going to take out the tortilla and place it in a strainer to drain all the oil. So this part is optional, but you can make hard-boiled eggs to add on top of them. So now after we're done making the tortillas, we are going to make the sour cream sauce. We're going to add 2 full tablespoons of sour cream into a bowl. And then we're going to add a little bit of milk. And then a little bit of salt. And then mix it. until it's soft and all incorporated. Now, after we added all of the ingredients, it should be this type of consistency, not chunky at all. So now we're going to start peeling the eggs. And then when you're done peeling, you're going to cut it in the egg cutter. After you peeled all the 3 eggs, you are going to start slicing them like this. So now that we have all our ingredients ready and prepared, we're going to start assembling them. We're going to grab a tortilla and some beans. We're spreading the beans all over the tortillas so it's all evenly on. And now we're going to put some of the chicken mix onto the tortilla. And then we're going to add the sour cream and drizzle it on top. And then for the end piece, we're going to add some eggs. Just like this. Ta-da! You made tostadas. Today I'm making banana pudding. The ingredients are bread, baking powder, margarine, cinnamon, olive oil, sugar, 2 eggs and 2 bananas, a bowl, and a pan to put the pudding on. Now with room temperature water, we're going to soak the bread. Since the middle is very soft, you don't want to put too much water, but on the sides you want to put lots. Now I'm going to smash the wet bread until it looks just like this. Now we're going to put 2 eggs in the bread mixture and mix it with your hands. Now we're going to add cinnamon into the mixture after you mix your eggs. Add a lot until it's really brown. So now we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the baking powder and sprinkle it on. And then mash it right away. Now we're going to add this whole 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then start mashing. And now you put 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then you mix it with the So now we're gonna grease our pan with margarine and make sure it's a lot so that it doesn't stick. And get the sides. So now we have 2 tablespoons of sugar in here, and we're gonna keep mixing it until it's melted just like that.
And then after it's melted, we're gonna place it in there to fill. But you gotta keep stirring it so it doesn't stick and burn. Make sure it doesn't burn. This is what it looks like, and you wanna make sure there's no chunks in here. Keep stirring. And it's okay. If you think it's burning, you can push it up from the heat and make sure it's all cracked. Okay, is that good?
Okay, like that, you see?
And now you pour it on here and have someone else help you spread it out because it's really hot. Now we're gonna cut our bananas to place it on top of here. Now we're just going to place them onto the sugar glaze. And just be careful because the pan is hot. Now that we have our bananas on top, we can start spreading the bread mixture. Make sure it's spread evenly. Now we're gonna put it in the oven at 350 for 45 minutes, just because it's very watery. So I didn't film this part, but you have to flip it over on a board and leave it out like this. And this is how it should look. Today I'm going to be making lasagna. What you will need is baby spinach, tomato sauce, ground beef, lasagna strips, cheese, a lot of cheese, soy sauce for seasoning, garlic, salt, pepper, and corn. Now we're gonna put our meat in, and we only used half, and then we're going to break it up and then put our seasoning in. Now we're gonna put some soy sauce and then add the seasoning after it's all crushed and yummy. And then the seasoning. There's pepper and garlic salt. And then mix it. After you mix all the stuff, you add in corn, a full can of corn. Now we're going to add 2 cups of tomato sauce. And then mix it. And now we're going to add 1 cup of water. And then mix it gently. And now we're gonna let it simmer. Now we're gonna put our pasta on the tray.
And then when it gets right into this corner, we're gonna cut it until it fits. Just like that. And then we're gonna add in our tomato sauce. On top. And now we're going to add some spinach on the top. And then spread them out. Now we're gonna add the cheese in. And now we're gonna do it again. One layer of pasta, tomato sauce, spinach, and cheese. And when it gets to the second layer, you add more tomato sauce. Now for the last layer, we're only gonna put cheese in. Lots of cheese to make it a nice spot. Get it in the corners too. And now I'm gonna put this in the oven at 350 for 40 minutes. Anya's done. We're going to take it out. And now we're going to cook our garlic bread, and it says to leave it in the bag and cook for 10 to 15 minutes. We're just gonna put it for 12 minutes. Now, after 13 minutes, the garlic bread is done, and we're gonna take it out. Place it on there. And open it, and then we're gonna cut it. So now that we took our garlic bread out of the oven, we're going to start cutting it. Sorry. Our lasagna is done and garlic bread. We also added some Caesar salad, and now I'm gonna cut into the lasagna.